You ever think a country smaller than New Jersey could hold some of the most extreme landscapes on Earth? From snow-dusted hills to deserts hot enough to melt tires, Israel's geography is a story of contrast, survival, and constant reinvention. It's not just maps and borders, it's a nation carved out of mountains, surrounded by seas, and split by fault lines that have shaped its destiny. What's wild is that you can drive across it in under a day, yet the landscapes change like scenes from different worlds. If you've ever wondered how one tiny stretch of land can hold everything from fertile farmland to moon-like craters, stay tuned, because by the end of this you'll never look at Israel the same way again. Before we dive in, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. It's crazy how far geography connects us all. Israel's geography is like a living paradox. It's compact, yet bursting with extremes. Imagine traveling just a few hours and seeing beaches, mountains, green valleys, and barren desert all in one route. That's Israel, a land where geography doesn't just set the scene, it defines identity. To the west lies the Mediterranean coast, soft, sandy, alive with cities and industry. To the east, deep valleys and harsh cliffs slice through the earth. The north hums with rainfall and fertile soil, while the south burns under the desert sun. These contrasts don't just shape the view, they shape how people live, farm, build, and survive. It's no wonder the land itself has always been at the heart of stories, ancient and modern. Every mountain ridge, every dry wadi, every fertile valley tells part of that story. If you're still here, type contrast in the comments. Let's see who's paying attention to the details. Forget everything you thought you knew about Israel being all desert. The north feels like a different country entirely. The Galilee is draped in greenery, rolling limestone hills, olive groves, and misty mornings that make it feel almost European. Rainfall here is generous compared to the rest of the country. Rivers like the Jordan spring to life from these hills, feeding valleys below. Then there's the Golan Heights, a volcanic plateau that rises dramatically above the Jordan Valley, once shaped by eruptions, now blanketed in orchards, vineyards, and wildflowers. But beyond its beauty, the Golan is strategic. Overlooking northern Israel and parts of Syria, it's one of the country's most contested and fortified landscapes. The north isn't just scenic, it's Israel's water engine, its agricultural core, its quiet strength. Yet it's also fragile. Droughts are more frequent, and the snow caps that once fed rivers are melting faster each year. Quick thought, would you live in a mountain region with views like this or prefer the coast? Drop mountain or coast below. Head west and the rhythm shifts. The coastal plain stretches from the Lebanese border down to Gaza, hugging the Mediterranean. This narrow strip is where modern Israel breathes. It's home to Tel Aviv's energy, Haifa's industry, and endless beaches that draw millions. But it wasn't always so inviting. Once a swampy, sandy expanse, settlers transformed it through decades of labor. Now it's a powerhouse, half the population, the bulk of its economy, and a pulse that never stops. Still, the coast hides problems under the surface. Rising seas nibble at the shores, groundwater salinity is creeping upward, and storms grow fiercer each winter. The Mediterranean brings prosperity, but it also tests resilience. If you zoom out, the view is breathtaking. Golden beaches, sun-bleached cities, waves crashing at dusk. Yet zoom in, and you see the strain of urban life pressed against nature's limits. If you've ever stood on a beach and felt both calm and small, you get it. Type sea waves, but if the sea feels like home. Now, drop eastward, literally. The Great Rift Valley cuts through Israel like a scar running down the planet's face. This vast geological fault stretches from Lebanon down through the Red Sea, and Israel sits right on it. It's both a wonder and a warning. The Jordan River flows along this fault, narrow and twisting, a lifeline connecting the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea. Once rich and full, the river is now a shadow of what it was, diminished by overuse and climate pressure. But even so, its story is epic. Civilizations rose and fell along its banks, and today, it still divides landscapes, borders, and belief. Then, at its southern end, lies the Dead Sea, the lowest point on Earth. About 430 meters below sea level, its waters are so salty they can hold you afloat. But the Dead Sea is dying, shrinking fast, retreating each year as evaporation and diversion drain its life. Sinkholes open up where shorelines used to be, swallowing land whole. It's both mesmerizing and tragic, beauty turning into warning. What do you think? Should humanity fight to save places like this, or let nature take its course? Comment save or nature. More than half of Israel's land is desert, and yet the Negev is far from empty. It's vast, brutal, and strangely beautiful. Here, the ground opens into craters so enormous you'd swear meteors made them, except they didn't. These makteshim were carved by erosion, forming giant natural amphitheaters of stone. The Negev gets barely an inch of rain a year. Summer temperatures blast past 40 degrees, 104 degrees. Yet despite that, it's alive, with Bedouin communities, kibbutzim, solar fields, and research stations studying desert ecology. What's fascinating is how humans have learned to live here. Solar farms glitter like mirrors under the sun. Drip irrigation turns sand into farmland. The desert, once seen as a barrier, is now a laboratory for innovation. But there's still a cost: resource competition, water disputes, and the ever-rising threat of desertification. If you've ever faced harsh odds but kept pushing anyway, type resilience below, because that's what this region stands for. Water is Israel's most precious resource and its greatest challenge. The country has mastered desalination and irrigation tech, but nature keeps shifting the rules. Rain patterns are erratic, rivers run lower, aquifers are stressed. The Sea of Galilee, once overflowing, has spent years dangerously low. The Dead Sea retreats. The Negev burns hotter. Even the humid coastal zones face creeping dryness. Israel's survival has always depended on adaptation, and nowhere is that more visible than here. Every drop counts. Desalination plants now supply most of the country's drinking water, and reclaimed wastewater sustains crops. But climate change is speeding up, and every year the equation gets harder. If you think climate solutions should be a global priority, not just a local one, drop a water emoji and in the comments. In Israel, geography and politics are twins. You can't separate them. The land itself has become a symbol, a battleground, a claim. The Golan Heights, the West Bank, the borders drawn and redrawn, they're not just lines, they're life and identity. A recent controversy erupted when an Israeli map showing historical territorial rights went public, sparking outrage across Gulf nations. Geography isn't just terrain, it's memory and power. Mountains become shields. Rivers become lifelines. Valleys become dividing lines between people who share more in common than they realize. And yet, step away from the politics, and what remains is the raw land itself, ancient, unchanging, patient. It's seen empires rise and fall. The earth doesn't care who claims it. It simply is. If only maps could speak, what stories would they tell? Comment your guess. One sentence only. So what does all this geography mean for Israel's future? It means adaptation, innovation, constant negotiation between survival and sustainability. From the solar panels of the Negev to desalination plants on the Mediterranean, from forest restoration in the Galilee to careful water recycling across the nation, Israel's geography keeps demanding action. It's a small land carrying massive pressure, but it's also proof that even harsh environments can breed resilience. Israel stands as both warning and inspiration, a place where geography doesn't limit people. It forces them to evolve. If you've learned something new, hit that like button. It helps more people see this story. And let's talk below. What surprised you most about Israel's geography? The deserts, the craters, the shrinking sea? Because behind the headlines, beyond the borders, lies a landscape that tells its own story. One of extremes, endurance, and the eternal struggle to balance nature and survival.